Alright, I'm back with another Destiny 2 video. This is a bit of a sequel to yesterday because things went a little bit off the rails with the Exorcism quest. After I finished it, I recorded my live reaction, which you all saw, and then I heard people talking about bugs and like they couldn't finish the mission because it was bugging out. And it became clear that some people were exiting from the final cutscene, which was glitching out the mission. And I'm like, oh, well, that didn't happen to me. Well, it did. So what I realized after the video that a lot of people point out in comments is that while I was able to watch the entire final cutscene, it did not actually trigger the next step of the quest. I got the triumph for completing the quest, but it did not progress the quest step forward. And everyone was like, why didn't you go talk to Mara? Why didn't you go talk to Saint? But it was not actually triggered. I had not triggered that quest step yet, so I could not go talk to Mara or Saint, and I did not even realize that was possible until a few hours later. So it took about 3 more runs for that not to get screwed up. I finally did an LFG where I yelled at everyone not to exit the final cutscene to make progress. And like, well, you will get booted to orbit after the cutscene. Like, you just have to check and make sure that the quest step has progressed. Bungie knows about this. I don't know when it's going to be fixed. It's kind of a disaster, but whatever. So this answers my questions about the audio log and stuff. So I thought I would kind of go through the lore aspects of the stuff that got glitched out that I didn't get to talk about yesterday. So pretty much what happens after that is a couple conversations, the audio log, and then the new lore entry. So when the cutscene ends, Savathûn is gone, and in her place in the crystal is Osiris. And if you're me, that was the last thing you saw, was just Osiris laying on the ground. And you're like, is he dead? Is he alive? But if you go and talk to all the people, you realize that yes, Osiris is alive, and yes, this is the real Osiris who has been missing for a year, and not another Savathûn deception, which has been Techian approved or something. They verified his identity, but somehow it's Osiris with a blue check mark. He's verified. So we know that Osiris is alive, and I wrote about this morning that it's kind of fascinating that the big twist here is that Savathûn kept her deal. She kept her word. The deal was she would trade us exorcising her worm, and she would return Osiris to us. Now, everyone thought this was going to be some elaborate trick, and that Osiris was dead, and she would return him to us, but haha, the catch is that he's dead, and you're just returning his body. Nope, he's alive. He's like in a coma or something, but the fact that they haven't killed him, and like Saint like talks about how he's going to make sure he nurses him back to health, and he wants to be the first face he sees. I love that Saint says he wants to be the first face he sees when he's wearing his helmet 100% of the time. I thought that was pretty funny writing. I think they did that on purpose. So Osiris is okay, and Savathûn kept her deal. And in my article today, I kind of talk about the implications of Savathûn keeping her word. I maintain that this plays into the kind of overarching idea that, well, we will fight against Savathûn to some extent and her Lucent Brood and the Witch Queen. I maintain she will end up being an ally with us against the darkness. How exactly this happens, what form this takes, is debatable, but I 100% do not believe that we are going to end the story campaign or end the raid, killing Savathûn, and then we move on. Savathûn is not going to die in this expansion. Bad predictions aside, I fully believe in that prediction, and I do not think that is going to come to pass. And I think the fact that, at one point, I swear Savathûn said something like, I've never lied to you or something, which, outside of pretending to be Osiris the whole time, like, I guess the idea is that even though she's been painted as the god of lies and deception, and we can't trust her and blah, 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 like, in this situation, she totally told the truth, and it was Mara who was going to betray Savathûn. I had to laugh out loud with Mara and the knife. Like Savathûn was just gonna be lying there, and Mara was just gonna like stab her. Like, was that really the plan? I laughed at that. Like Mara was gonna betray her. Savathûn probably knew that also, which is why she didn't stick around. But she kept her word, and the stuff she said in the past is like, she's trying to help us against the darkness. Like she was running interference and arrivals to like try and protect us from the darkness. And then there was that kind of Osiris flashback thing where she talks about all the different things she did and all the different ways she like tried to help us. Like she helped negotiate a truce with Keitel and sort of stopped an assassination attempt. I think she was involved in that somehow. And then I forget what good thing she said she did in Splicer. I think she said like she helped root out a traitor in the tower with Lakshmi, and like she was taking credit for that. And like she guided Crow to become like a very moral light bearer who's like a good force in the tower and a positive influence now. She came out of the crystal and didn't siphon the light out of anyone or kill anyone, and she just left. So she really hasn't done anything super bad lately, at least. Like, so I think this idea plays into the fact that I think Savathûn will be an ally eventually. We'll see where we are at the end of the Witch Queen, but I feel like this is going to be a thread that carries through the whole next year and into Lightfall. And I mean, this whole year has been about forging alliances with our enemies. We did it with Mithrax, we did it with Keitel, and now I think we will end up doing it with Savathûn, even though she has seemed like our greatest enemy. I think this is kind of what Bungie is setting up, and I think the idea that she kept her word about Osiris is kind of an indicator of that. I mean, we're hunting her down anyway, so like really she had no reason to not just kill Osiris or not break her deal, but she didn't, so that's interesting. Besides that, other stuff we got in the lore is we have like Petra, I think it's Petra and Ikora talking about how Savathûn kept her deal, which was interesting, and confirmation that Osiris is alive. He still doesn't have his light. I imagine he will be back in the future in some capacity, and then we will have to learn kind of his new role in things. I feel like he might have a reduced role compared to what we saw this past year, just given how involved he was, and I mean, the voice actor at least. I know it wasn't actually him, but I do not imagine he'll be as involved this year as he was last year, but we'll see. And then the final lore entry, which unlocked after the audio log, was about, it was a letter from Mara to Crow, where she's essentially saying, like, I get it, you're your own person now, but, like, no matter what you call yourself, you always be my brother. Like, if you want to hang out and have tea or whatever, like, I'm open to that. It's kind of a positive note to end on with the Mara saga, after we learned so much about how manipulative she was to Uldren, and then how she was trying to manipulate Crow. We don't know what Crow's response to this is. We know he's doing things in Witch Queen. I think he's going to be involved in the seasonal storyline, which involves Keitel and I think Saladin. I'm pretty sure that he's going to be a part of that. But we saw him in the trailer multiple times, so he's not going anywhere. His story is not over. I maintain his story will not be over until he's under Vanguard, which who knows how long that may take, but I believe that is the path he is on. I think it's good that Destiny isn't just kind of like dropping these story threads after a year. I think we were surprised that these threads lasted a year to begin with, because it used to just be like every season was kind of its own standalone little thing. Like, oh no, the Almighty's crashing into, the tower for 3 months, and like stuff that just doesn't have to do with anything else really. And I think these connecting threads are going to carry through, in addition to new things like Anna Bray is back. She was seen in the trailer as part of like the grand collection of Guardians, and I think we are going to pick up the Rasputin storyline. That's a whole other video for another day, but I believe that's where we're going. So very important to catch the end of the reveals here. The fact that Osiris is 100% alive. It's not a cliffhanger. He is definitely alive, and that means Savathûn kept her deal. Very, very important. Mara got outplayed, as we knew she would, and she's just kind of like, meh, it happens, whatever. I think Mara came out just looking like a moron this season, but that's just me. I don't know if her overture to Crow is genuine or not, or what role she will play in the future. It doesn't seem like she's very involved in Witch Queen. Maybe she was in it, but I feel like the clips I showed of Mara were mainly from the Exorcism cutscene, so I don't know how super involved she will be in that, because it seems like kind of a collection of Guardians at the tower, and like Mara's never going to come to the tower, like, please. So she's way above that, but I'm sure she's not going to be just written out completely. Anyway, so those are my additional thoughts based on the non-bugged out information I learned after the fact. And again, do not quit the cutscene. Do not race too far ahead. You are not done with this unless you have seen the entire cutscene with her breaking out of the crystal, and you have talked to Mara as the second step, and then talked to Saint as the third and final step. Once you do that, you can get the audio log. Once you get the audio log, you can get the lore piece, and then you're done. The seasonal ship that has been missing this entire time, there's an exotic ship, I forget what it's called, but it's been in the data mine, it's got lore and everything. That is not, there's no way to get it. It's not, I don't think it's bugged. It's just they never put a way in the game to get it. There's a Bungie help post that confirms that like there is no seasonal thing you're supposed to be doing to get it. They like kind of forgot to do it. So they're looking at a way to like give it to players in the future, they said, but you're not like, you don't have to rerun the exorcism to get the ship or something. So anyway, thoughts there. And then we have 6 days to Witch Queen, which is crazy. And then there will be nonstop videos all day, every day, nonstop articles, and a bazillion things to talk about. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.